arms come off. I
Is
magnetized
that on
them.
purpose?
Yeah, they got magnets in them, and they come
Okay.
off. And they can.
Are you gonna paint
And
him?
then I will, and I'll paint all of the arms separate, and then they can detach. And I have different guns for the different arms, and I could play dress up with my giant murder robot.
He's so excited.
I am very excited. He's got a big claw. It also comes off. Fucking. Also, his whole body comes off too. Bonk.
Oh my god, that's so disturbing.
You can like.
I mean, this
Wow.
thing's fucking huge. It's like the size of my head almost.
Yeah.
So like, it's just for
okay.
transport.
How
Like,
much did it cost?
This was. I mean, it's not that expensive in the grand scheme of things. I think it was like $160 or something.
I think it's a fair price.
Dempsey and I look at each other.
No, I'm about to spend an embarrassing amount of money on a flat piece of plastic. So.
Oh,
It's fine.
okay. I've been spending too much money on travel arrangements, but no regrets.
Yeah, I mean, I have no regrets for my giant pieces of plastic.
Yeah.
Don't mind the other like $600-$700 of plastic I also own, but
Hey, it's good to collect. All right. Well,
Whose turn is
I
it?
think that was a cold open, and it's your turn because it's your topic about length of games.
Oh yeah. Okay. Woo.
oh, it's Dempsey's turn. I thought
Yeah.
it was
Dempsey's.
Katie's episode.
It's my turn. I kind of thought it was Katie's turn, but
It was
we
my
got
turn
this.
last time.
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, well, hey, hi. Hi. How you doing? I feel like I'm
Well, welcome to Overthinking
welcome.
Games.
There we go.
What's up?
I can't figure out how to start
How do we
intro.
start our episode? You need a sentence starter, Dempsey. I
Yeah,
do that all
kinda.
day long.
Okay. Hello. Welcome to Overthinking Games podcast, video games podcast where we talk about what video games can teach us. I have a problem with vinyls, with indie video game soundtracks specifically. My name is Dempsey, and with me are two educators, very lovely. We have Katie.
Hi, I'm a special education teacher and not a lover of vinyl, but a lover of video game music, especially when it's done with an acoustic guitar.
Okay, yeah. Go listen to our interview with Josh Guitarfolo. And then Seth.
It's very good.
Hi, I sometimes teach science. I recently had a student identify me as a Gen Z Miss Frizzle, but like with contempt.
Oh, no.
So I didn't know
Well,
how to feel
is
about
it
that.
a high schooler if it's not contemptuous?
And so our topic today is how the length of video games impacts our relationship with that game. Whether some video games are as short as like 30 minutes I've played, and then some I've put hundreds of hours into. Normally, the host asks everybody what they've been playing, but I have so much shit to talk about. So here we go. It's just going to be Dempsey rants for a couple minutes about certain things in video games. First
I'll
of all,
sip my beer.
I do not know if I have talked about this on this podcast yet. So if I have, you get to hear it again, or maybe I'll edit it out. But have I talked about how my relationship with A Night in the Woods has changed?
Yes, you said that it turns out that the guy who made it was creepy or not nice or something.
Yeah, I don't know if I said it on air or not.
Well, that I don't know.
Yeah, that I don't know. But I do not think I said that on air. But so one of my favorite games, not like S tier, like it's not like for me like Journey or Outer Wilds or Disco Elysium or what?
What does S tier mean? What does it mean? I hear that and I don't know what it means. Is that super tier?
Yeah,
It's like above
Is it?
A.
it's like above A. I don't know what the S stands for.
And then does it go A, B, C, D, E, F, G?
Well, F.
Well, yeah, no E.
No E and F.
Oh,
I think,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know what S stands
It's like a normal
A, B,
grading
C, D,
system,
F?
but with like an
Like a
S
grade?
above it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We're cutting this out.
sorry.
no, I'm kidding. So A Night in the Woods, I reviewed it on the podcast. It's pretty well reviewed on Steam. It meant a lot to me when I played it. It's definitely not like high up on like my greatest games of all times, but it's definitely a game that meant a lot to me. And I figured out that the creator of that game was a bad person, and then he killed himself. the themes that game deals with, it's hard for knowing this about the creator to not impact how I feel about this game. And so I am really trying to recontextualize my relationship with this game. I think it's still a meaningful experience for me because it was before I knew any of this information. Like when I just knew it from vague video game discourse and played it and thought it was very beautiful, it was very meaningful. And so I think it would be really disingenuous for me to be like, oh no, he's canceled. Now this work no longer connects with me. I don't think that's true. So maybe we'll check in on this like every couple months and see how I feel about this game. Because I think I think my relationship with it is going to evolve. But there is like, it's a very profoundly sad game about someone who hates themselves and hates what they do and feels like they ruin all their relationships, which feels kind of apt for, I don't know. I think it's a very personal story. I think it touches on things in very beautiful ways. And the person who made it was apparently a really awful person. And so if you want to look it up yourself, you can go look up the details and whatever. But yeah, it's just something that has really impacted my relationship with that game.
I think it's interesting. I have some thoughts on this, if it's okay. Of course, it's okay. It's a podcast about talking about games. Anyway, I have some thoughts about this because a lot of games, especially like AAA games, are made in morally ambiguous situations sometimes, like where like crunch and that kind of thing, like how a studio treats its employees, things like that. And so I think that having kind of a nuanced relationship with a creation, like kind of separate from its creator, is something that people who play games are already familiar with, whether maybe they don't realize it. But I think there's a lot of times where we have to like separate the creation from the creator, because like you look at a game where like Blizzard, when they were having all of their issues with like lawsuits for sexual misconduct and harassment and stuff. But people, good, hardworking people worked on those games. And so then to not buy the game is almost punishing like the people who just want to be able to do their dream job. So I think it is kind of a complex process to figure out where to land on those kinds of issues.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's almost a little bit more comfortable that the game's creator, whose name I'm not going to say, again, you can go look all this up if you want to, Night in the Woods. I don't think he's a controversial figure. I think he was just a bad person. And I think that makes it somehow less stressful to navigate because like, I think like, so a very like TikTokified example of this is J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too.
I would say Rowling is like a controversial figure. And so that's its own like other set of thought processes. But I do not think the creator of this game is controversial. I think like he was just a horrible person, a very sick person, like a person that was, and then he ultimately took his own life. So obviously there was a lot of stuff going on there. So yeah, I think in one sense there's like a simplicity to it that I don't have to navigate like people defending him or it's like I don't know, it's simpler that way. Anyways, so that's just something I kind of was interested in. Otherwise, Seth was correct about Balatro. That game is amazing, like really good. Shout out to my mother. My mother requested that we give her a shout out. She's in the hospital for some kidney stuff. She's been playing my Steam Deck. She's been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate. She's doing great. She wants to be on the podcast sometime, so maybe we'll make that happen. But I have been spending a lot of time in the hospital with my mom, and we've been going through Game of Thrones, which has been fun. I've seen all of Game of Thrones and the first couple seasons several times now. And so for me to play Balatro while also like explaining things and answering things about Game of Thrones to my mom has been very satisfying, because Game of Thrones is, I think, best watched with someone else who can answer your questions, is how I would suggest people watch Game of Thrones. But Balatro, you can play with only half your brain, and it's very satisfying. Like, it is purely like arithmetic level math and like algebra level strategy. And if you can do algebra, you can be really good at Balatro and come up with some like crazy combos. It does sound stupid. It's like a roguelike poker game. But like you can play with like a Polaroid or like a business card, or like it has like other game cards kind of that you play with in as like power-ups and things like that, which I think is a really fun idea. Like there's a movie theater ticket, and there's like a punch card to like a business and things like that. And I think that element of it is very fun. This kind of breaking open poker to include all these other cards that aren't game cards. When a strategy pays off, when you take a gamble and like it pays off, that is the best feeling ever. You'll be like, okay, I'm going to really bank on like getting hearts. I'm going to turn as many cards as I can into hearts. I'm going to try to increase like hearts go up by this, whatever, get the jokers. All the jokers are about hearts. And you don't know what you're going to get next. But like when that gamble pays off, it is incredibly addicting. And I think slot machine games are going to be an interesting topic, because Vampire Survivors, I think, is a slot machine game, and then Balatro is a slot machine game where like there's an element of luck. Like it doesn't matter how good you are, sometimes your run's just going to suck because you did not synergize correctly. And obviously like it's poker, so like there's that casino element that's really obvious. Anyways, Balatro has been really good. I've played the first hour or two of Oxenfree, and that's really beautiful. I really want to continue playing that game. It's like, it seems like it's really, really, really up my alley, actually. It seems, yeah, it's, you get a radio and you get to have like really well-written conversations on the beach with your friends, which is a good vibe. Yeah, Oxenfree's has been a joy so far, and I think that's it. I've been bouncing around playing like some Slay the Spire, a good game. If you like Slay the Spire, you will love Balatro. Like it's a lot of the same vibes. I think that's how I feel about that. Anyways, I think that's all of my video game related crises this week. Katie, what's up? What's up with you?
Well, first, just to touch on Oxenfree, I played that game last summer, I think, and I really, really enjoyed it as well. And you can actually play Oxenfree and the second one for free if you have a Netflix subscription. So
oh, yeah. Yep.
That is a cool thing that people should know about, because they're really fun. I haven't played Oxenfree 2, but the first one is just a really fun little game. And I actually included it in one of my, I did like a book game pairing on TikTok. And if you like it, you should read Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessel, because the themes in those two works like parallel really well. And it's just kind of an interesting thing. So that's my tangent. Otherwise, that's my book recommendation of the pod. Like, at least one per podcast as per recent habit. But I've been playing, oh my gosh. Okay. I've been playing a lot of things, but the main two things I've been playing are, Potions, A Curious Tale, which is a super cute little crafting, collecting adventure game. It's made by Stumbling Cat, and it's made by a female-led developer, which I think is cool. And she's worked on this game for 10 years. And it's just a cute little game. Like, it's really fun to collect things, and it's fun to like craft the potions. And the potions are how you really interact with the world. That's how you attack creatures. That's how you get through obstacles. And so you kind of have to be strategic, because you can make a bazillion different kinds of potions, but you can only carry 8 different kinds. So you have to kind of think about what you're going to need going forward. And my favorite part about it, though, is that all of the creatures and all of the stories are based on fairy tales and like multicultural folklore. So you get to hear about all kinds of neat little monsters and different takes. Like I met Baba Yaga, I think is what she's called. Is that right? To make that up? Yeah, I think that's what she's called. Like the old lady and like the old crone witch. And you get to meet like Sleeping Beauty, and you get like these cool collecting cards that are all different mythological creatures. And there were so many that I'd never heard of, and I was looking them up afterwards because I was just really interested. So I really like kind of that aspect of it because folklore is one of my favorite areas of literature. So that's really cool. And it runs really well on the Steam Deck, so it's kind of fun to play handheld. It's a good one to play like while you watch something as well, because you don't really need to be super zeroed in on it. It's pretty easy. But that's been my casual like weekday evening game. And then the other game I've been playing, which I've restricted myself to only weekends, is this is my weekend game because like during the week, if I get too into a game, like I don't actually rest. And so by the time I get to the end of the week, I'm just exhausted because I've never given myself any actual downtime. And so what I've been playing is Detroit Become Human. Have you guys played this at all?
No, I have not.
Okay, so I think you two should play it because Josh from the Gamer's Drink also played it. That's how I decided to finally play it. And he wants to do an episode. So I'm just saying. Yeah.
I think
so. Play it so we can talk about it.
I wonder if it's available. I think it might have been available on like the PlayStation like Essentials back when that was a thing. But
I have it. So I upgraded to the PlayStation. I had the PlayStation membership and I upgraded to the medium tier. And with that, you get a whole bunch of games in the library, kind of like the Game Pass for Xbox. And so I got Detroit Become Human for free through that. And oh my God, it's so good. So it's made by the same people who made Heavy Rain. So you play as androids. You're in the year 2038 and androids are everywhere. And there's these different factions of people, like people who hate them because they're taking people's jobs and people who fear them because they're so like us. It's like uncanny. And then people who use them for as housekeepers and bodyguards and to supplement law enforcement and all of these different things, the caretaking, that kind of thing. You follow 3 different stories. As you go, you have to make decisions. At the end of each level, you actually see the decision trees and you'll see all of the choices you could have made. Like it doesn't tell you what they are, but you can see the branches of this decision tree and all of the things that you could have done that you didn't do. And then it shows you like the decisions you did make and how they led to the outcome that you get. Like the replayability is going to be pretty cool, I think, because there's usually 2 to 3 completely different full endings. And then there's like little decisions that change other smaller things. And I don't know how all of that ties into each other yet, but you follow these 3 androids and they're all 3 in different situations. But what's happening is that androids are starting to malfunction in that they're having human emotions and very human freakouts. And so you follow these 3 deviants throughout just a series of events and choices. And it's very action-packed. It's very gripping. One time my husband walked in while I was in the middle of a very intense scene. And he usually will stop in, glance at what I'm watching, what I'm doing, and then leave. And he got sucked in and he sat with me until I finished that chapter because he wanted to know what was going to happen. And it's just very well written. And the art is really good. It's creepy good almost, how realistic it is. And I just love it. And I can't wait until it's Saturday morning and I can play it again. I can't wait. So those are my 2 main games, a very casual kind of cozy game and then a very emotionally and intense sort of game. So but you guys should definitely play it so that we can have that episode and discuss it further with spoilers. Seth, what have you been playing?
My list is not complicated. So it's funny because Dempsey calls it Balatro. I always just call it Balatro. So I'm just gonna keep calling it the way that I call it, and I would literally. So Balatro, which is, I mean, yeah, fantastic game. I'll just echo everything that Dempsey said. Like, I only have 37 hours in it, which feels like cookie numbers compared to what other some people have logged at this point. But I mean, yeah, Dempsey, I think you bring up an interesting point about like something like Vampire Survivors being almost like slot machine like, Balatro being Balatro being like poker like. Like, it feels like there is a market for gambling based games that aren't gambling.
Yeah,
but I mean, there's also a market for like actual gambling right now.
Sure, but these games have no microtransactions.
Yes, which I think is the important part of that. Like, mechanically, I think people are figuring out like mechanically gambling is like fun, but like obviously it's like ass because it's gambling. But like, you know, when you're gambling for like fake poker chips and malt in a game about making poker hands, like now we're talking. So yeah, that's cool. And even just like using some of the mechanics used traditionally for slot machines, something like Vampire Survivors. We've talked about this before. The other side of things, I've been playing some Elden Ring. The DLC announcement got me up off my butt. It got me to actually start up another playthrough. That game is so big. It's like absurd how big Elden Ring is. And I mean, this is not like a new piece of information, but like, goddamn. It's crazy going back to that game after like a year of not playing it and being like, oh, there's so much world to explore. And I'm like 20 hours into my playthrough and I'm not through the like second area of the game. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I still have another like 30 hours ahead of me before I finish out this playthrough. It's just a long game, which is not a problem. I mean, I love it for that. Like the fact that there's so much there to like dive into, but it does make me be like, oh my gosh, I'm 20 hours into this game and I'm only 40% of the way through. Like, I'm gonna go crazy. But it's self-imposed, right? Like, it's no one's forcing me to like sit down and explore every inch of the map, despite the fact that I've already done it before 3 times. But what else are you gonna do, you know? Gotten some Warhammer 40k games, like the actual like tabletop game with my little mini soldiers.
Oh, fun!
I won one, got my ass kicked in the other one.
Right, because really it's like badly. Command and Conquer, not like Dungeons and Dragons.
That's correct. Okay. It's crazy that you just referenced Command and Conquer because nobody else I know knows what Command and Conquer is. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Red Alert 2, one of the best games ever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's my bit. I don't got a lot to talk about today.
That's okay. I think your comments about the length of Elden Ring and going back for more is going to tie nicely into our topic, Dempsey.
I have a question that I want to start with.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
If you compare games you love the most to games you spend most time playing, how close are those graphs together?
They're not very correlated.
No.
I feel bad, but they're really not. So if I have to think about it, like, and I bring this up all the time because my Steam library looks crazy. Like, my most played game of all time is Team Fortress 2. I have 1,300 hours in it. Would I recommend anybody to play Team Fortress 2? No. My second most played game, Realm of the Mad God Exalt. It's an MMO permadeath bullet hell shooter. Would I recommend anybody to play that game? No, it's ass. I have 800 hours in that game. But then, like, I have a bunch of bangers. The Binding of Isaac, fantastic game. Terraria, great game. Slay the Spire, great game. Dark Souls 3, great. Darkest Dungeon, great. Borderlands 2, great. Nuclear Throne, Skyrim. I've got a bunch of great games on the books. but like my most played games is some of it's just like I wouldn't play that if I were you. Sorry.
I think my most played game is a Planet Zoo. 178 hours on my Steam Deck. It is not my favorite game, but it is the one that I hyper focused on the most over my summer break. But I think, and like Slay the Spire, I have hundreds of hours on between my Switch and my Steam Deck, and I love that game too. But I wouldn't even say that's in my top 5. I find that like games that I play if I play a game like one time and it really gives me a good experience, even if it's really short, that's going to make that top 5 list more so than even a game that I've put hundreds of obsessive hours into.
Yeah. And I think like a lot of games, especially if a game isn't designed for replayability, like a lot of the games that I play are designed for replayability, or like, you know, the reason I have 1,300 hours in Team Fortress 2 is because it's a shooter. You queue in, you kill people, and then like you queue out, and then repeat for 1,360 times, and then that's how you get my gameplay hours.
Well, if we're talking talking actual most games, I was just looking at my Steam library. Like I've put we've probably got to be getting close to 2,500, 3,000 hours on Warzone, probably, over the last several years.
I gotta hit you guys with this one. So I was chatting with a student, and we were talking about how long we've played video games. And he was like, oh yeah, I think I have like 114 days in Fortnite. And I was like, no, you fucking don't. I was like, you probably have like 114 hours. Nope. Pulls up his Xbox Live account, has 114 days, has like 3,500 hours in Fortnite. Dude's like a junior in high school. I'm like, how the fuck did you do that? Like, where did you get the time to do that? And he's like, during the pandemic, I just didn't pay attention at school and just played Fortnite all day. And I was like, well, there you go.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's no way you like Fortnite that much.
No, but it's extremely addicting, right?
I guess. I mean, I've never really played it, so.
Oh. Well, battle royales in general, I think, are. That's why, like Warzone during prime pandemic, like nothing else to do. But even last year, I think I put about 600 hours in. The year before that, I did put in over 1,000. So that's probably my most played game, and it's one of my favorite games. But it's like a game right now I'm not really into playing at all. Like I haven't played it in a couple weeks. I'll probably come back to it because it's like a seasonal allergy. It just comes back no matter what. How about you, Dempsey?
I think the game I've probably put the most time into might be Balloon Tower Defense 6. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, it does sound crazy.
Sense. It's on your phone though, or on your Steam
Deck? It's on my iPad.
Yeah, so that makes sense. It's accessible.
It's on my iPad, and I play it in the background where you can kind of just like put a tower down, press play, and so it's kind of passive. I've put a lot of time into Slay the Spire and Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is like the most gamery game that I've put, I think, an absurd amount of hours into. Baldur's Gate 3, I think, might be one of the most perfect games I've ever played, but it is not like my favorite game I've ever played. Like, if I was on a first date and we were like, what kind of video games do you like to play? I would not talk about Baldur's Gate. It's not something I connect with, like the art form of gaming per se. And I think it's interesting, like what I am trying to get out of games that I play a lot that feel like they have no end. Like I do not know I do not know what I am working towards in Balloon Tower Defense 6 or even in Baldur's Gate at this point. Like, I already rolled credits on the story. I have been on the Wikipedia and watched video essays to where like I know all the characters' arcs pretty intimately. Even if I haven't necessarily played through the arc, once I got the first credits rolled, you know, like I would like, this is a deep dive on Karlach for 45 minutes on YouTube. And even listening to like Lord to Death's podcast, he has stuff about Baldur's Gate lore that I think is really interesting. But like, I'm not playing the game to get that lore anymore. And I know this because I skip almost all of the dialogue and I just play the battles. Like now it's kind of just a mechanical game for me that's really satisfying to perfect. And I don't think about games like that, even though I am finding myself doing that. Like, if you were to ask me what I want to get out of games, I would say like story or personal expression or something like that. But like the time that I spend with games is to achieve some kind of flow state or perfection, or, you know, some little satisfying brain itch in Balloon Tower Defense 6, or like the precision of a really good battle in. And so I think that's so interesting to me that like what I say I want to get out of games and also what I spend the most time getting out of games are not the same thing. And I know, and here's another thing, that like games that are very good, I am very happy are short, because sometimes very good games can be exhausting. Like if they connect with me the whole time and if they're emotional the whole time, like I want there to be an end that I don't go back to. I think God of War is a really good example. Like I could not put 100 hours into God of War. Like I want that emotion there, and I don't think that would help. Which is why I'm not very interested in the roguelite mode. I know there is story elements to the roguelite DLC, and I'm interested in going back to that game because I hear it's like therapy for Kratos. Like that is the draw for me, that there is story elements. In The Last of Us roguelite mode, I have no interest in returning to that world without the narrative conceits and feeling like I'm getting a story told to me. And so, yeah, I just think that's really interesting. I don't know. Katie, did you have thoughts?
Yeah, well, just when you're talking about like how really good games can be exhausting, that's exactly how I feel about Detroit Become Human. Like, I don't know exactly how long it is, but I know it's not a super long game, and I'm probably in the last quarter now. And there's a part of me that's like, no, I want it to keep going because it's so good, but there's also a part of me that's glad that there's going to be a conclusion and that I'm going to get to see it relatively soon, because it's the kind of game, like if it were a book, that I would stay up all night long reading, you know? And like where I'm at with my life right now, like I just can't afford that kind of like obsession. And so I've been careful about not playing games that are that gripping. So if I am going to play a game like that, I'm glad that it's short, because I can kind of get my bang for buck without having to commit to 40 hours or something.
Sure. So do either of you think of value in video games in terms of dollars versus hours enjoyed? Do either of you have that metric?
All the time.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, Seth, you first.
It's something that I think about all the time. But it's also, I think a lot of that mentality stems from like being young and not having money, and then being like, I need to maximize. And now it stems from like, I'm an adult and like, oh, I have to pay things like rent. And then I also have to pay like bills. And then like, if I'm spending money on video games, that's money that's not going towards like other hobbies or food that should be. So like if I'm going to be spending money on a game, I want to get that value out of it. And the most recent thing that's come up is like RuneScape. Where it's a game that like I stopped playing because my membership ran out, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get what I perceive to be like $60 of value over the next like 6 months of membership in this game. Or maybe I will, but like I'm gonna play it. It's gonna come at like the detriment of the other things that are important to me. And so but it comes with the caveat that like you sort of need to realize that not every experience is designed to be infinitely replayable roguelite, right? To the point of your conversation, Dempsey, like I don't want to play the beginner's guide for 10 hours, despite the fact that it costs like $10. I understand that I'm paying $10 to experience this for like an hour and a half. But, you know, like if I'm going to be getting some other game, you know, like I feel like I need to go play more Baldur's Gate because I spent like $60 on this game and I played it for like 5 hours. And I'm like, I didn't get my fucking money's worth. I got to go like back into it now. Which I don't think is like a super healthy mentality to have in general. Like not everything needs to be like, oh, I spent $60 on this, I need to get 60 hours out of it. But
is there
like, it's not a terrible metric.
Is there a minimum play time that you would be willing to spend $60 on? Like if a game is 5 hours long, let's say it's like a Resident Evil spin-off game. I don't know. I like Resident Evil, and it's like 5 hours long. Would that be worth $60? Or if it's 10 hours long, like, is there like a minimum there?
The thing is, if I'm spending, no matter how much money I spend, I want the complete experience. Like, if I'm spending $60 on a game, I think to me it's less like, oh, I need like 60 hours or like it needs to hit some hour minimum. But like, I expect you to provide me a like fully fledged AAA game. Like I want something like God of War Ragnarok if I'm spending $60 on it. Doesn't matter to me if it takes me 10, 15, 60 hours to complete the game. Like I expect a certain like level of product. It's different than like when I spend $15 on Balatro, and I mean it's going to be better than the $60 game in the first place. But you know, I spend $15 on Balatro. You know, the expectation comes down because I'm like, I spent $15 on this game. Or you know, I spend $5 on a game that's on sale. If I play it for like an hour and I'm like, I didn't really enjoy this that much. Okay, it was $5. I'll buy like one less frozen pizza next week.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of with you there. The way that I tend to think about it, not so much dollar for hour. Like, I don't need to get, if I pay $16 for a game, I don't need it to be a 16-hour game. But I kind of think about it like the cost of a movie. Like, it probably would cost $15-ish to like go to a movie and get popcorn. Like, it's expensive. Did I get a movie's worth of entertainment out of this game? You know, that's kind of how I think about it for like smaller cost games. So like I bought Potions, A Curious Tale, not knowing if I was really going to like it, but it was $16 and I've played it for 5 hours already. And like, yeah, that's worth it to me. If a game is $60, then like you said, Seth, it needs to be of a certain level of quality. Like I have to be able to play it and feel like I got something. Like it needs to be a very refined, like really good experience. Otherwise I'm going to feel like I wasted my money.
Yeah, I mean, you need to give me what I perceive to be like $60 worth of value. Because, I mean, video games are a tough market, right? Like, you know, I could very easily take that $60 I spent on your game, and I could buy 3 really good $20 games from like a small developer.
Exactly. And that's what I tend to do anyway, but...
I think there's an interesting twist on my first question, which is, do you think the amount of money you spend on the game and your favorite games have any correlation?
No.
Yes. No.
Some of the cheapest games I've ever bought were my best games I ever played. So a backwards correlation.
Okay, so
yeah.
In that case, like, I think dollar for dollar, hour for hour, the best money I've ever spent on a video game was when I found $20 on the ground of my middle school and I used it to buy my Minecraft account. Like,
oh, that's darling.
And the amount of hours not only that I got out of Minecraft, but like the impact it had on who I made friends with in school and the work that I ended up doing later in life. And a lot of my life stemmed from like finding $20 on the ground and like using it to purchase a Minecraft account. So like dollar for dollar, that's the best one. But like I've put 1,600 hours in Team Fortress 2. That game is free as hell. So best bang for my dollar. There you go, right there. It was free. It's hard to get better. Like Bloons Tower Defense, fantastic game. It's like $6. I've bought it like 4 times. But then you got like Elden Ring. Elden Ring's like $60. That's like game of the decade, 2020s. I started saying that when that game came out, and nothing's changed. And the DLC hasn't even come out yet. So like,
the DLC's $40.
Brother, this is the best $40 I'll ever spend.
I think, I don't know. I think it's, my relationship with video games has really changed over the past couple of years of putting more time into video games I'm not in love with, but it's almost like soothing. Like I know that like if I've had like a stressful day at work or like things are out of my control and I go into Baldur's Gate to like continue my honor mode playthrough, I like there's like an element of like comfort to that is not necessarily like engaging. I don't necessarily feel connected to the creators in a way, but like I think, and like it's like a comfort almost, and that's why I put so much time into it. And I know there's games I would like more. I know that like I would enjoy Oxenfree more probably so far than I enjoy Baldur's Gate. But Oxenfree feels like an emotional, like, you know, it's going to take some like emotional labor to like properly engage with. And I just don't like, right now my mom's in the hospital and I just don't want to do that. I just want to keep putting time into something that doesn't ask that of me. And so, I think that's, but like as the games that I put the most time in, there is like a comfort that it is filling.
Definitely. Like that's why I have so much time on Slay the Spire, because it's a game that I can play while I listen to something. And it's very relaxing. There's no story element. There's nothing emotionally going on. It's just straight like calculation, trying to make good decisions, trying to make good plays, and just kind of seeing what cards I draw and losing. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. Because sometimes you just don't have the, like for me with like long games, sometimes I don't have the bandwidth to look down the barrel of a long game that's like 40, 60, however many hours long. I'm like, oh God, I don't think so. That's why like Baldur's Gate I've been putting off playing, even though I paid for it full price when it first came out because you guys pressured me. And then I haven't really even played it because it's such a big game that I'm actually daunted by the size of it. And it makes me hesitant to jump in, because if I get super sucked into a game that takes, I don't know, how many hours does it take to beat, Dempsey? Like 60?
Probably around 100.
100? So if I get sucked in Jumanji style to Baldur's Gate for 100 hours, I'm not going to finish my master's degree. The children will not be taught. The marriage will not be, nurtured. Like, there are many things. And I would rather play Detroit Become Human for 3 or 4 weekends and get through that and have it be completed.
You know what it feels like? And maybe this is a bad, I don't know if this is bad, but like, I'll be like, I don't have the energy to watch a movie, but I will spend 3 hours on TikTok. And so I end up watching more TikTok than like a movie that would be good for me to watch, especially because of my job. Like I could get something out of the experience of watching a movie, but instead I will scroll on TikTok while I, play Balatro. And I think that's similar.
I struggle with that sometimes too. Like I think about that a lot because I watch a lot of YouTube, and like a lot of the time when I go on YouTube, I'm like, I'm going to go sit here and watch YouTube for the next hour and a half. And I'm like, I could get in like an actual movie in that period. And like, if I got in a movie, it'd probably be like something that I could then go talk to people about, because like nobody watches this like random streamer that's got like 130,000 subscribers on YouTube. They're a small streamer and there's nobody to talk to about it. And like, if I do meet somebody who has watched them, they're like, oh yeah, they're cool. And I'm like, fucking be parasocial with me. So like, it almost feels like wasted experiences. But I don't think it's like a super healthy way to think about it. Because like everything's a trade-off, right? Like, I could also be using that hour and a half to like go learn how to do something productive, but like
Sure.
that's not a useful way of thinking about things either.
I feel so validated to hear you guys say this, actually, because I grew up a reader, and I grew up in a household of voracious readers. And of the voracious readers, I am the least voracious. I don't read as much as the rest of my family. And always, like, especially since like kind of college, adulthood, I go through these phases where I'm like, I can't read something I haven't read before or by an author that I'm not familiar with because I don't have the energy. And I've tried to explain this to my family, and they're like, I don't understand. And I'm like, I don't either, but here we are. I don't have the energy to like listen to a book or read a book that I don't already know everything that's going to happen, or that I can't trust the author is going to take me on a pleasant journey, And sometimes it's that way with games too, that I don't want to jump into Baldur's Gate, even though I know that I'm going to really like it, because I don't have the energy to do something new right now. Or if I do, it needs to be confined to Saturday mornings for like 2 hours, and then we'll revisit again next Saturday. So it makes me feel better that I'm not alone in that.
I think it's like also for me, it's like the difference between listening to a podcast and an audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in how I experience audio media, audiobook, I will get more out of and enjoy more than a podcast. But sometimes that mental load of like following a story and caring about the characters, I just don't want that. I just don't want that investment. And so I won't listen to it. Even though like they would take the same amount of effort, but a podcast is just more comforting and less engaging, which is what I want. That's so
except for not ours. Ours is extremely engaging.
No, our podcast super easy to listen to.
Super easy to listen to.
Super engaging.
We do not ramble at all.
Nope, not in the slightest.
No, that's what
We're
I'm saying.
We're a thinking man's podcast.
That's what I was saying, is that podcasts are easier to listen to than audiobooks.
Yeah.
Because audiobooks feel like they take up more commitment.
Yeah, and like I find myself like I listen to one podcast. I love lots of podcasts, but I only listen to one, and it's Beach Too Sandy, Water Too Wet, because it's so conversational, and it's like a brother and sister that do they read reviews from the internet and comment on them, and it's so conversational and relaxed that it makes me relaxed, and I can just listen to it. Whereas sometimes like other kinds of podcasts, I'm like, I don't know what you guys are going to talk about, and I don't know what the vibe is. I don't know what the vibe is. Yeah.
So I have one more question to kind of close us out. Is there a game that you consider a game that you love incredibly much that has more content that you have not engaged with? Like you could play more of it. So like, for example, the beginner's guide, once you play that through, you've played the whole thing through, you can love it and only spend 2 hours with it and know it completely. But is there a game that like has more content to it? Like you quit halfway through, or, has DLC that you have not come back to or whatever, that you love, and you still have not put more time into it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, it's Skyrim. I've put hundreds of hours into Skyrim. I played that in college. And then like every 5 years, I go through these random spurts where I'm like, all I can and want to play is Skyrim. and I still have never beat the main quest. Like I've just never done it. I always do every side quest. I join every club. I do every guild. I'm like every side quest is my main mission, and I've never gotten through the main quest line or any of the DLC. I've put like 500 hours into this game. What have I been doing? I don't know.
It's crazy talk. I have so much to say on that exact topic. Literally about specifically Skyrim and people not completing the main quest. I'll save it for later.
Seth, do you have a game that you love that has more content that you could put more time into, but you have not engaged with?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking back and I'm trying to figure out a good answer for this. Because I kind of like 100% in games, but I think my best example might be Minecraft is the first thing that comes to mind. Like, again, I love Minecraft. I think it's probably like one of the most foundational, formational games for like how my life has panned out. I have not played a serious amount of Minecraft in probably the past like half decade. And I don't really intend to. I know they've added plenty of content. I've played a little bit with friends, and the new content seems cool. I am not particularly interested in that game in the same way that I was when I was in like middle school and early high school. And the idea of there being new content in there is cool, and it just doesn't seem very engaging to me. I don't think the game is different. I think I'm a different person than I used to be, and I just have a different relationship with that game than I used to. Looking through my Steam library, I mean, there's a couple games that I'm like, I should play that, but like I just didn't. Like, I should still probably go back and play Undertale because I've yet to play it. Every time it's the first game that pops up on my Steam library for like, here are these games you should play next. And every time I look at Undertale, I'm like, I should probably play that. Never do.
Well, you should try it and see if you are more on Dempsey's side or on my side with that.
Yeah, maybe.
Another
thing is like, yeah. Well, another game is almost like Bloons Tower Defense, where I'm like, there's a whole bunch of maps and stuff. And like I played Bloons Tower Defense, I black bordered all of the beginner maps. And then I was like, yeah, I mean, there's more challenge to this game, but like I'm not necessarily interested in engaging with it. Like I don't play Bloons Tower Defense because I'm looking for like extremely challenging content. Like I play this because I want to click the ninja monkey and then put the alchemist next to it and then just kind of like sit there for the next like 20 minutes as the game plays itself. And that like I occasionally like, oh, look at me, I'm smart. I'm using Adora's sacrifice ability on a tower and she gets a little XP upgrade. She gets a little treat.
It's almost like something to do with your hands.
Yeah. And then there's like other, there's just other things to do as well. So like maybe instead of that, I'll go play some other game. So like there's games I really enjoy. Again, I've also put a ton of hours into Bloons Tower Defense. It's just not a game I particularly feel like exploring all the content of.
Mm-hmm. How about you,
I've got
Dempsey?
my fix. I'm good.
Oh, I'm sorry, Seth. I thought you were done.
It's good.
Apologies.
I was done. I was just putting more in there. Yeah, Dempsey, you got anything?
I still have not played Echoes of the Eye, which is the DLC for Outer Wilds. And Outer Wilds is, and I have not played any of the B or C sides for Celeste. I think every game that I love, I have not put all the time into to like 100% it.
You only did what? You only beat Hades once, right? Was that you?
Yeah, but I don't have like a connection to Hades.
But Hades' story is so good.
I think Hades is fine.
I think you're fine.
But thank you. It's a boost. But no, I think there's a lot of games that I love that have more content that I feel like have really impacted me, and I have not completely fleshed them out. I think Celeste and Baldur's Gate as well. Like there's some content. Well, I'm still playing Baldur's Gate, so maybe that's not a good example. But definitely Outer Wilds and Celeste.
Why do you think you haven't played Outer Wilds yet? That surprises me. I would have thought you had done that, actually.
I have a fear of going back to that game that I think is pretty common with people who play Outer Wilds, that like it's not going to hit as hard. Like it's not going to be the same. I hear it is though. That's the thing.
I heard it's really good.
I know. I hear people be like, "No, you're gonna be stressed out that it's not going to be good, but it's actually really good," which I can't even comprehend. Like I cannot like, because like the philosophical difference in my worldview now since playing Outer Wilds is so like, it's so fundamental to the way I see the world that like playing a DLC makes it just feel like a video game, if that makes sense. Like the first,
Yeah, like books don't have DLC.
yeah, like the first time I played that game, it was like, oh, this is like how do I want to build meaning as an individual, and where do I want meaning to come from, and what does it look like when it comes from different places? And as someone who hates philosophy, who took religion and philosophy classes in university and hated my entire time with them, like it was just a really impactful experience. And so, yeah, I think there's a fear of going back to it and it just being a video game, and that feeling like this thing that's really important to me actually is not that profound. So that's a fear that I have. But I think we're at time. So if you have a certain way that you think about length in video game, if you think about length and value, or if you think about like, you know, the game you love the most, you've put the most time into, or if you want to answer any of the questions that we asked each other, feel free to email us. The email is in the show notes, as well as the links to all our socials. Go yell at us on TikTok. That would be great. And I think that's an episode. We did it. The release schedule is really erratic. This will probably come out in like May or something. Who knows? April. Mm-hmm. But I've been Dempsey,
and I'm Katie,
and I have been, currently am, and will in the future be Seth.
I don't think we usually end with saying our names again.
I don't think we do, but I think that's all right.
Say bye. Okay, I'm going to say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.